Time to look at the SunRisers Hyderabad today, and what an admirable team they've been over the last 3 years. And they've picked wonderfully again. They made a pretty good deal. They thought that maybe Shikhar Dhawan wasn't very happy, but they got Vijay Shankar in. They've got Shahbaz Nadeem in. Abhishek Sharma's a good option as well as you go through the tournament. So they started that well. As usual, they've got a very solid Indian bowling core, but they've also got a good Indian batting core. Now that Vijay Shankar is available, there's Manish Pandey in there. So they fill in that spot. Deepak Hooda, Yusuf Pathan. There's a decent Indian batting core, and I think they've picked remarkably well with their overseas bowlers. And then there's the big return of David Warner. David Warner of Australia is a completely different entity from David Warner of SunRisers. And I've often asked Tom Moody that question. I've often asked VVS Lakshman that question. What is it that makes Warner a giving, reliable, solid captain for SunRisers when his image as an Australia player is completely different? But he comes in every time he plays a full season for the SunRisers, he scores more than 500 runs. Sometimes he scores 600 runs. Sometimes he scores even more than that. Warner comes back, the SunRisers look very different. And that's why they call him Warner Garu, don't they? Warner Mia, Warner Garu. He's just become Hyderabadi when he comes in for the IPL. He loves it there as well. They've got all bases covered, which is very good. More than anything else, the SunRisers have shown the IPL what you can do with a good bowling side. Bhuvneshwar Kumar over the last 5 seasons has got 96 wickets. They picked Rashid Khan from the start of 2018. He's got well over 100 wickets. And if you look at economy rates numbers, you look at strike rate numbers over the last 3 years, the SunRisers are very good. And they've shown you can win an IPL on the strength of your bowling. That doesn't mean they don't have strong batting, but as I said, they've got all bases covered. It's wonderful. So let's start with what a good team could be. This is my super team. In fact, I've got 3 my super teams that just tells you how many options they have. The first of those, I've got David Warner. I also think Johnny Bairstow is wonderful. He's really destructive at the start. So I'm actually opening with Warner and Bairstow as my wicket keeper. And you might think, where are the Indian players? Because I've got Shakib Al Hasan at the number at which he bats for Bangladesh. So Warner, Bairstow, Shakib, 3 top overseas players. You've got a wicket keeper already. You've got all of them batting in the international positions. And you've got 4 overs already from Shakib. I like Manish Pandey at 4, Vijay Shankar at 5 and Deepak Hooda at 6. In this team, you can actually even play Yusuf Pathan at 7 because you become a team of 10 with Yusuf Pathan, the floater, where he was most dangerous for KKR and then again for SRH. That leaves me with 4 bowling options. I've got Rashid Khan, I've got Bhuvneshwar Kumar, I've got Siddharth Kaul and I've got Khalil Ahmed. Now on a day, if you think you want to play Billy Stanlake, then you can replace Johnny Bairstow with either Saha or Shrivats Goswami at the top of the order. I like that side. Now there's another side as well, because you're already asking me where's Williamson. He'll come to that, don't worry. He's coming in with an injury. He had a fantastic last IPL, but he's coming in with an injury. I've got a different team to look at as well for you to consider, because through the Big Bash, I've been following Mohammad Nabi's figures, and I think he bowls at the start. He's a good finisher. He's good at number 7. So I'm going to replace Johnny Bairstow with either Shrivats Goswami or Ridhiman Saha at the top of the order, and then I'm going to have Mohammad Nabi batting at 7. So that's how that team looks like. Now I came into the studio and the analyst here said, you have to play Kane Williamson. I love Kane Williamson. I'm a big fan of Kane Williamson. He was one of the reasons I was watching SunRisers in the last game. Now let's assume that he's completely fit. Now you can open still with Warner and Bairstow. You can have Williamson at 3. You don't have room for Shakib, but you can then play Shahbaz Nadeem down the order. You still play at 4, 5, 6 that Indian core of Manish Pandey, Vijay Shankar and Deepak Hooda. And then from 7 onwards, you can start playing your Indian bowlers and Shahbaz Nadeem comes in. It's still a very strong team. So I'm telling you all this, but I'm highlighting the fact that there are many options, some really good overseas players, good Indian core. I see no way that the SunRisers will not make it to the final for thereafter, who knows. Now there's one area of concern though, and that is because it's a very peculiar IPL season with players coming in slightly late maybe but leaving to join their teams for the World Cup. The SunRisers will start to lose players. The Australians go away on the 23rd, the Englishmen go away by the 1st of May, but because Bangladesh and Afghanistan are also playing games in England, they will start recalling their players towards the start of May. And look who SunRisers will then miss out. They lose Warner, they lose Bairstow, they lose Shakib, they lose Mohammad Nabi and they lose Rashid Khan, and they'll be left with only 3 overseas players. That's something they will have to consider and make the most of them while they're around. But since I backed them to make the playoffs, there's a slight issue there.